Today is July 21st, 2017. It is a wonderful sunny day, and you're watching It's That Talk Show. Welcome everyone, and as always, I am your beautiful, if I do say so myself, host Charlene Ingodia. Now, last week, I know that we had the president of the University of Arizona on our talk show, and he was talking to us about financial aid for college students during the coming semesters and years that he's going to be here at the University of Arizona. And so I want to give him again my thanks and appreciation for coming onto this show and telling us more about it. Right now though, I want to look at something else. So we know that in America, immigration has become a very big issue. It's something that everyone is now fighting against or struggling for. But I want to look at it with a more global perspective. We all know that immigration is a big issue in America. But what we don't know is that it's also a very big issue in different countries. You have Germany, who is very accepting of refugees, and then you have other places like Hungary, who is trying to send them away. But I want to look personally at a smaller country which doesn't get a lot of time in the news when it comes to immigration issues. Now, I want to take a short vote on our website so that if anyone can guess what country I'm about to speak of, they would win a prize, and the person will be announced as well as a prize at the end of this show. We'll come back right after the voting is done. The small country I want to talk about is South Korea, which immigrants I find really interesting because of the policies the country has, the prejudices of the people against immigrant workers, and the way immigrants are being treated. Now, while South Koreans do get a lot of immigrants from different countries, but mainly Asian countries, and their immigration policies have changed a lot, citizen statuses are still not being given out to a lot of foreigners. So South Korea is a very cultural place. I think this is something that everyone knows. They have kept their history alive, even after all the wars they have gone through, even after lots of different countries have come and settled down there and tried to take away the culture that they have, and yet they've still been able to keep it. But their stance on immigration has only recently changed. It's not something that's been going on for a long time. South Koreans generally are not accepting of immigrants and foreigners coming to their country. So right now though, their stance has become more open. They're more inviting in guest workers from different countries to come and work there, as they are now a booming economy, which is something that a lot of people did not expect, I can tell you that. Okay, so in order to become a citizen, you have to either be married to someone who is a citizen, you have to be born from someone who is at least one of your parents has to be a citizen. You have to live there for 5 years. If you're not a national citizen or you have no parent or connection with Korea and you want to become a citizen there, you have to first of all live in Korea for 5 years, and then first of all learn the language, learn the culture, embrace all of that. Yes, the kimchi. So you have to live there for 5 years and then go through many hoops and pay a lot of fees, which is actually not so different from how you have it here in America. You have to also, another way of going through to become a citizen is to invest a lot of money into the economy. I've heard it's about 1 million or a couple of million won, which isn't so bad as you might think it is, since about 1,000 won in Korea is $1 here in the US. So even so, the citizen might still not recognize you. Like, if you are working in South Korea and you don't look like everyone else there, they will not think that you're a citizen, or they would want you to show proof of citizenship. If you tell them that you're a citizen, they won't really believe you. Okay, especially if your skin color is different, as South Koreans do tend to be a homogeneous country. So South Koreans consider immigrants a threat because they feel that they displaced native-born workers from jobs that they originally do. The truth, though, is that there's a lot of jobs South Koreans don't want. In fact, there's a lot of jobs that nobody wants to do. These jobs are called 3D jobs. Difficult, dirty, dangerous. Yes, dangerous. Some jobs are really dangerous. Part of the reasons Koreans have guest workers is because they don't want the jobs that they have. The jobs that guest workers do, it's not jobs that everyone wants to do. Those jobs are not lucrative. They aren't really things that their parents can brag about. Come imagine the little boy saying to his mom, "Hiane Oma, the reason that I don't have a job is because the immigrants stole everything that I wanted to do." Okay, so another reasons that Koreans don't like immigrants is because they have their inability to assimilate into the culture or their unwillingness to do so. By definition, though, assimilation is when a minority culture loses what sets it apart and becomes part of the majority culture. So basically, this means that in order to for Koreans to accept them, first they have to become part of all the Korean culture and lose their original culture. I don't want to lose my culture. And other than the inability to assimilate, they are also scared of immigrants being a potential threat to social order and domestic security. Now, you have to recognize, a lot of people consider South Korea very safe countries. In the news, you don't get a lot of things where, oh, there's a criminal, or there's a serial killer all around like you do here in America, which is something that we have become very used to. But it's not something that Koreans really have. It's not something that they experience a lot. And the fear that immigrants coming into their country will disobey the laws, thereby cause our society to collapse by inviting crime, which is actually a very false. Because immigrants don't come to a country to cause mischief. They don't move all the way from a different part of the world just to go to Korea, just so they can cause a crime rate to increase. That's not why they are here. They're coming there because they want a better life for themselves and their families. Even if they're not allowed to bring their spouses or children for visits, it makes them very lonely. And yet, they still will respect what is being told to them. Then even when the Koreans do let the immigrants in, their treatment of them is very poor. There are numerous reports of immigrants being thrown in jail because of small problems or misunderstandings with their visas. Those immigrants are thrown in jail, are even sometimes beaten. Yes. Again, like I said, the American justice system. People who wish to immigrate to South Korea but have a darker skin tone often feel discouraged after living in Korea for a short time. They're being stared at wherever they go and assumptions are made about them. They feel so uncomfortable in their own skin that they don't want to live there any longer. All of these fears that South Koreans feel about immigration and the prejudices and treatments of immigrants are the same as those that Americans have. Does South Korea really want to follow the bandwagon of racism and xenophobia that Americans have? Now, South Koreans are moving on to a better and brighter future. Their economy has increased by so much in such a short little amount of time. They should leave their prejudices behind. They should be different. They should want to improve themselves, encourage immigrants to come, and when they do come, they should let them actually be accepted. Now, that's all for today. So, the winners of the vote at the beginning of the show will get an autographed copy of Beauty by Robin McKinley, who is actually one of my favorite authors.